Alligator Creek. Shit's getting real.
Find out why they call it Alligator Creek.
Let's see if we see any gators. I hope so. We love gators. Paddling Alligator Creek. Josh Collins gator bait up front. Puma pulling the rear. I'm staying in the safe zone, right in the middle. I ain't scared of no gators. See that knife? I thought I had a knife. I don't have a knife. That's a freaking knife. That's a badass knife. Day 2. We're headed out from the Chickie. Getting ready to go on to the outside. Old Veterans Boys over there still getting ready. Puma's over there already. He's been ready for 20 minutes. Can't keep up with the kayaker. Wind's gonna die down. A little chilly last night, a little windy, but we're doing good. All right, getting ready to head out to the ocean. Did about 9 miles in 2 hours. Pretty good pace for loaded boards. Last little bit was at about 6 miles an hour. Getting ready to pull out into the ocean and then head down to Highland Beach and then on down to Graveyard Beach, and we're going to try to make it into Joe River before the tide turns again. So got about 15 miles of Joe River. It does look like it might be a little bumpy on the ocean, but the wind was blowing in our favor all day yesterday and then also today, so it should be bumpy in our favor too, I hope. All right, Josh is securing a little bit more. Yeah, I got mine stuff all secured down one more time here so that we're all good and tight. And hoping it's an uneventful crossing. All right, we're making it out the mouth of Lossman's Creek here, Lossman's River. Crossed a couple of sandbars. Luckily, I left my shoes on. Note to self: whenever you're exiting one of these rivers in the Everglades or entering, leave your shoes on. There's always an oyster bar or two to pop up on you. I hopped off my board just in time to save my fin from crashing on certain doom. Josh and I both hit ground a little bit, but managed to make it across. So we put about a mile out to sea here. Still in 6 inches of water. Barely clearing it with my fin. Standing forward on the board, tilting sideways a little bit. Luckily it's sand, soft, but you can see the bank is coming way out. About a mile out. Super shallow water. There's a 5-foot tide right now, so at high tide we'd be able to go right across this, but right now we're just barely making it. We're hole up on Shark Point. That was what, a 12 mile open water. Luckily the waves weren't too bad. Coming every direction, but nothing too big. No mishaps for me. Puma made it fine. Josh strapped back a little bit. I think he was having trouble with his board, a little bit overloaded, but he should be coming around the corner any minute now. And yeah, we're just sitting up here on a beach that Irma kind of killed. Plenty of firewood. Oyster Bay Chickie. It's the place I was lost last year. We all made it easily this year. Josh.
Yes, sir.
Big day. Tough. We went into ketosis today. We thought we were going to have to revive him.
Oh, man.
He revived himself.
Here's a tip.
Self-rescue.
Kick your training off with a 100-miler and going into ketosis at the same time and quitting coffee.
And quitting coffee. Oh, well, you know what I say about that. I'm not going to say it on video, but you know what I say about quitting coffee. Forget it. Day 3. Beautiful sunrise. Scott and Josh getting ready to head on out. Another 30 miler. Gonna try to make it down the Shark Point Tower today. Through Flamingo, resupply with some water. Gonna go down down through Joe River. Light winds, a little bit of falling tide, but shouldn't be too bad. Beautiful morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Joe River.
I love Joe River.
South of Joe Bay Chicky. Got about 10 miles in this morning. Got about 11 more to go to Flamingo. And then about another 8 to go to the tower. Yeah.
It was kind of windy out there, isn't it? I said, yeah. He said, did you come across there? I said, yeah. He goes, holy shit. He said, I said, you see the two stand-up paddleboarders? I'm waiting on them. They go, God damn, you guys are nuts. He was laughing. He's a good guy. Boy, that was tough.
That was a lumpy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I did 4 almost the whole way.
Nice.
You put your head down on this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has enough way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I don't have any windage.
Yeah.
And this what this boat does in those conditions.
Nice.
And you know how when you make up your mind you got to do something?
Yeah.
Fucking back didn't hurt me one bit.
Nice.
You know how you just put your head down?
Yeah, you just put your head down and go, man. A big lumpy section, that's all you can do.
Yeah. And you know what else I do in this, and I'm not sure it helps. I try to keep on top of the wave.
Yeah, I do too. You get in phase.
Yeah.
You want to be in phase with the wave.
Go,
Yeah.
it feels like you're getting a little extra push down the wave.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny shit.
It is shit. Was it lumpy enough for you?
Little texture on the water. I knew we were going to get some of that at some point in time. You can't paddle 100 miles without, a little bit upwind.
A little bit upwind.
that was a pull, buddy.
Whoa!
That was a pull. I'm gonna have a seat. But there was a fisherman pulled up alongside me in the channel. He's like, "You all right? You need anything? Water? You want a beer?" No. I was like, "Hell yeah!" They gave me some water and a beer.
Nice.
It was pretty cool.
We're heading out of Flamingo. Sun's gone down, wind's died off a little bit. All right, we're here at Shark Point Chicky. Good solid 30-mile day today. 10 hours of pretty tough paddling. We all made it. The wind was pretty tenacious today. It was an awesome day. We paddled out into the night, 3 hours in the dark.
I was ready to go all the way.
Josh was ready to go all the way. He was.
Fucking Puma.
And Puma was ready to go all the way too. It was just me. I had to call it. But it's pretty cool. We paddled for about 3 hours and then started to get worried and turned on GPS. We were 3/4 of a mile from the tower. So. Day 4. What day is it? I said day 3, day 4. Shark Point Chicky. Beautiful sunrise. And we're gonna head out right over that way right there. So we're in the Jimmy Channel.
Sorta.
Sorta. We're on the edge of the Jimmy Channel, taking a break. 11 miles since the tower. Pretty brutal side chop. Could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. And Jimmy Channel's got this nice shallow area here where we can put our feet in the water. Puma can get out of his boat. All right, Ram's Horn Shoal. Last landmark before we finish up. About 2 miles to the creek. Another 2 miles to the shop. Puma went on ahead. Josh is coming on here. We're all a little tired. Just past the 100-mile mark. 4 days. And ways to go before the EC. Gotta be doing that in 2 days. So, gotta step up my game a little bit in the next couple months. Did a lot of note taking, tweaking my gear. One of the things I found on these is that you can't really speed up your pace a lot, but you can reduce the amount of time you're monkeying around with your gear. and that really costs you in the long run. Time not paddling is time you're not making your way towards Pelican Cottages at the finish line. So it's important to have all your gear situated. Josh and I talked last night. We're gonna do for the last probably week or so before the EC, we're gonna set up camp and break down camp every day, at least once, just to get an idea. Another thing that I'm doing is I decided to go stoveless. Now, Chief requires you to bring a stove. I'll have a stove, but I'm not gonna cook anything. All my food's gonna be ready to eat. That's gonna save a lot of time I can spend either either paddling or sleeping. And sleeping is important. Yesterday I shifted my gear around and put it on the back of the board. I don't know if you can see it right there. There it is. Thinking that maybe for the crosswind that would help with the windage. Some of the things I like about it is it's probably good for downwind because your weight's back, so if you have to surf a little bit, it's easier to get the board surfing. One of the things I don't like though is that my dashboard, this stuff that I got up front here, my maps, my GPS, my compass, my dry box, all that stuff's now on the deck of the boat. So it's less windage up front, but I got to bend over that much further to get to it. After about 200-300 miles, you don't feel like bending over. The other thing that it's helpful for when it's up higher is that when you're kneeling down to do something, or when you're standing back up, it gives you a little help to stand up, sit down. I find that's important also as the race goes on. You get tired, your back's hurting, you're feeling cranky, and when you got to go down to get something, it's a lot of work to get back up, and you're unstable, you're feeling tippy. So I'm going to go with a second bag and have some of my gear in the back, probably my camping gear and my sleeping system and my clothes. Everything that's going to go in the tent once I set it up, I'm going to put in the back bag. Everything in the front bag is going to be my food and my chair. I love my chair. Chair is definitely a luxury item, but when you're a paddleboarder, man, it sure is nice to have something with a little back support when you sit down. So my chair and my stove and my food will be up front, and then water will be evenly distributed. Usually for water I bring 2 3-liter bags. That's enough to last me about a day and a half of regular drinking, a little bit of cooking, and then I bring a couple of empty bags so I can carry about an extra 6 liters. So I double my water supply when I go into the Everglades, because there's no resupply for water in the Everglades till you get to Flamingo. Flamingo does have water, and you do have the little portage that you got to do there, but yeah, it's not that hard. We did it last night. If you have all your stuff ready to go, it just takes a few minutes. Last night we left Flamingo in the dark. That's kind of sketchy. If you don't know Florida Bay very well, you might want to stick with spending the night in Flamingo and getting up and finishing in the morning. The nice thing about finishing during the daytime too is there'll be people there to welcome you. So if you do the bay crossing at night, basically when you come out of Flamingo, you got to get in that Crooked Mile. Once you get in that Crooked Mile channel, it's kind of hard to follow. You got to shine your light every once in a while and stay on the reflectors. But basically you're going to head due east out of Flamingo. Any doubt, just keep going due east. You'll pick up the Crocodile Dragover, which is another well-marked channel. We stayed in Shark Point Tower, which is in between the Crooked Mile and Crocodile Dragover. And then from there we went southeast back to Tavernier. So we didn't do the actual finish leg last night, but I know that section pretty well. So that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I have made a lot of notes, stuff I'll be changing. I bring wet notes with me so I can make changes on my routing. I can make changes on what I'm going to bring for my gear kit. Gear kit is crucial in this. You're going to rely on this stuff to keep you alive. Last year I had an incident out here in Florida Bay, right out there in the middle of nowhere. Wind blowing 35. I lost my fin took my fin off and didn't stow it to float across a shallow area. Big mistake. This year I'll have a spare fin, plus I won't be pulling that one out. But last year I came across there at a dark night. I couldn't see anything. I had every bit of clothes on. Only thing that saved me was my training and my gear kit. I had every bit of clothes that I could put on. And I wish now, I thought later, I should have taken that space blanket out of my first aid kit, folded it up and shoved it under my shirt. That'd have been a great way to protect myself and you know, keep that thermal barrier down. I did get a little bit hypothermic, but managed to make it in. Luckily the wind was blowing me right to the house, which is kind of where I live, right by the shop on Tavernier Creek, so I was able to go home and get warmed up. Nobody helped me. I kept to the tribe rules, but just like you can stay in a hotel up there along the course, I can stay at my house as long as I don't break any of the rules by letting people help me out. So nobody helped me. Next day I got up, I went and got a fin, put the fin in and paddled 12 miles up the coast, right up there. Let's see, where is it? All the way up there by that, you probably can't see that living antenna there, but that's the finish line up there. So I'm gonna get back on my board here. Got a couple more miles. Josh is almost caught up to me now, so that's all for now. Keys water, crystal clear.
Yeah, I'm not going any, no bread.
Hi, Scott. He's fine.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, he's doing it on you.
Well, where you guys went?
Why didn't you follow the point man?
Because
Where did the point man go? Where did the
Puma landed, he needs help with the kayak.
I told you, go under the bridge, take a right. Right?
We did. We're in
I
on
got
the
a
bridge.
nice shot over there with a hose.
We found a wonderful landing where I can help him send his kayak.
My stuff's already washed. I'm ready to head back. You guys are ready?
We're ready to turn around after I have some of this.
It's too bad we didn't leave a car up there. If we left the car up there, we'd like head up, back up, and do it again, right?
Just easier way.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Somebody bring that wall. I didn't bring my wall.
I didn't bring mine. I gotta
I got a wall. I got a wall. I'll pick up one. We're ordering over there. We got
Order over here. AAR review?
Yeah, not
Right.
AAR. The R is the
R is review.
review. You don't have to say AAR review. You say AAR.
I ain't got no brains.
AAR. I got it. I got it. I feel like I'm going commando or something, man. AAR.
These are the crazies that just drug us through the Everglades.
What have we learned?
Well, I'm gonna learn should not be the first event you do after 60 days off,
Yeah. And not start keto at the same time.
and not try to go into keto, and don't quit coffee.
Don't quit coffee.
The same day.
That's
Other
like
than
3
that,
strikes.
we had a great time.
Went smooth. I thought it was a good time.
It was a great
I
time.
enjoyed it. What did you think?
Oh, I never had a worse time in my life.
Can we ask you back?
Yes.
I would like.
No, it was great.
I would like
Absolutely
to-
marvelous.
I
Marvelous.
would like to do a do-over on the. Let's just wait about 4 or 5 hours and ride the current and see if we would have gotten there faster than going earlier against the current, against the wind for 10 hours. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just saying. Right.
All I'm saying is we should do a test side by side to go. One of you leave 4 hours early, go
Okay.
against the current, against the wind for 10 hours. The other one.
Next year, here's the deal.
You do that.
You leave early, but we'll wait, and we'll have a test at the end.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one that leaves early.
I'll leave early.
Right. Anyway.
It was
time.
a great time.
I had a good time. It was nice. I thought there wasn't. If we had this for the EC, I'd be so happy, grateful.
That's impossible, man.
What?
We will not have this.
No.
Oh, I
for
know.
That's absolutely impossible.
Well, we're doing good.
You will never get this again.
No.
This is a
No.
good
You
one.
won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the temperature.
Yeah, but
Temperature.
you know what? This is one of those events that you try to duplicate, and you'll never be able to.
It never. Yeah.
You'll
You
never.
That's the bad
can
part.
never go back.
That's the bad part.
No, he's gonna do
Because
something more awesome.
You're gonna go, hey, let's do that again because it was so awesome. And next year,
Wipe your nose, man.
it'll be 180 out.
We'll zoom in on that. That's all right.
That's terrible. Thank you.
You're welcome. So,
Yeah, next year.
but you're right. We'll never be able to duplicate the weather, the conditions, the camaraderie, everything. Just
Next year we'll try to do it next year.
It'll be
And next year it'll be
raining, blowing like a son of a bitch out of the south.
horrible. And we go, what were you guys talking about? And we'll talk like 4 other people
About how
that are
awesome it
doing
was.
it.
Yeah, it would be like, yeah, man, it was
and
like
they'll
piece
go,
of cake.
oh, it's just so awesome, man. That's such a great time.
Yeah. Nothing to it. It's a great setup for the Everglades Challenge. Couldn't be any better.
Yeah. Kind of get, you know.
This was actually too easy because like we only did, we had to do it twice. We had to do that in 2 days for the challenge.
Yeah.
50 miles a day is kind of my target.
Yeah.
We did 25 miles a day basically.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of work to do between now and
So you're going
March.
50 miles a day?
That's my goal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go 60.
Okay.
So
and my other goal is stay ahead of you. But.
Yeah. So the real race this year is because the subs have their own category for the first time in history.
Subcategory.
There's been 4 guys that completed this over the past 15, 20 years, however long Water Tower's been doing this, and so this year
Nobody's done it twice.
Chief has said nobody's done it twice. So we've both done it once. So the first one to the finish line is the first one to do it twice. That's one thing, and then also the first one to win the subcategory. So
And there's
gonna
never
be a foot race.
been more than one finisher
and
in
there's
a
never
year.
been more than one finish.
So we'd really like to have more than one finisher. So actually, when I was out there on the bank, I worked up some video to get started along those lines. Some of that stuff we talked about, where we're going to try to help some of the people that are coming
So
in.
I need some of this footage for Stretch Mullet and putting a video together for John and just talk about.
I'll put it all up. You can have it all. I'll put it on my Google Drive and send you a link. And
Okay.
you can have it all. Yeah. As long as I get credit like top, Scott Bates.
Paddle.com.
Paddle.com and then Josh,
Definitely get.
Veterans Voyage.
Yeah, way down here. In smaller print. Directed by. In fine print.
You guys are awesome. I'm
Good
done
stuff.
taping, right?
Yes.
Okay, we debriefed.
We debriefed.
Pre-AARP.
I think my battery ran out.
I've seen that.